In today's age, there are so many different ways to write a book. In this video, we're going to talk about the different ways that you can write your book and be more productive. What's up, guys? Michael Laurent here with Author Level Up, and I make these videos to help you become a better writer and feel good doing it. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and click that little bell to get notifications every time I have a video. And in this video, we're talking about the different types of ways that you can write a novel. Now, you probably knew I was going to say you could do pen and paper, and you probably knew that I was going to say that you could write your novel on a word processor. But I'm going to talk about some other ways that you can write in today's new era of publishing and digital technology to unlock and unleash your word counts. The first method is a method that I use a lot. It is my secret sauce, and it's one of the reasons I've been able to be so prolific. Did you know that you can write novels on your phone? Now, some people are probably like, oh my gosh, I can never do that. What are you talking about? And yes, I'm talking about writing with your thumbs. There are ways that you can hook up Bluetooth keyboards and things, but I write a lot of my books partially on my phone. Now, the reason I had to learn to do this is because or at the time I learned to do it, I was a manager at a Fortune 100 insurance company, and my life was pretty hectic. I was in a 9-to-5 job that was very busy and demanding. I had a toddler at home, and I was in law school classes in the evenings. And so my problem was that I would sit down in the morning in front of my computer, but then throughout the day, I was never in front of my computer. And so I found that my word counts were suffering. And so I had to kind of decide, if I'm going to continue writing at the pace that I want to write and write the number of books that I want to write, then I need to figure something out. And that's when I discovered that Scrivener has a iOS version that is phenomenal. You can basically write on Scrivener iOS and pick up where you left off on your desktop version. And then when you get home, you can sync your phone to Scrivener, and then all the words that you wrote throughout the day are there. And I've written novels in the back seat of Uber cars. I've written novels while standing in line at the grocery store, waiting to check out. I've written novels at the doctor's office, waiting to be seen. And the beautiful thing about writing on your phone is that you're writing in the cracks of life. So a lot of people think that you have to have these big, uninterrupted blocks of time. But the truth is that you can learn and train your brain to write in 2, 3, 5-minute increments. And those increments add up in a really big way at the end of the day. And I did a study on one of my novels. 40% of my word counts come from writing on my phone. I'll let that sink in. Now, the next way, which is a multifaceted way of writing your book, is by using dictation. And when I say dictation, I'm not talking about the little microphone button on the keyboard that comes built into your phone on iOS or Android. Take that garbage and throw it in the trash. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about using a program called Dragon by Nuance Software. And I'll drop a affiliate link to Dragon in the video description for anyone who wants to check it out. But Dragon is a voice-to-text software that takes your voice and turns it into text in almost real time. And it is amazingly accurate. Now, at the time I record this, Dragon for Mac has been discontinued. However, stick with me, Mac users, because there is a way that you can use Dragon that is almost as good. But if you have the ability to run Windows on your computer, you can boot Dragon and run it just like a Windows user. So if you have a computer powerful enough to do that, I recommend Parallels, because Parallels is a virtual machine that'll let you do that. But anyway, the version of Dragon that you want is Dragon Professional Individual. And let's jump over to my computer and I'll give you a quick demo of what this looks like. All right, I've got Dragon for Windows booted up. This is Dragon Professional Individual. This is the version I recommend that you buy. But I'm going to show you quickly how it works. So I'm going to click this little button here and start talking. As you can see, Dragon takes your voice and turns it into text very quickly, period. It is accurate, and it doesn't take long for it to render your voice into text, period. To speak dialogue, you would need to do this, new line, open quote, Here is a line of dialogue, comma, close quote, he said, period, new line. So as you can see, it's pretty accurate. There's some minimal things that I have to fix, like this, here, but it's fairly accurate and a great way to get words in on your novel. Now, my Mac friends, I know that you're probably feeling a little bit in the cold, but I'm not leaving you out here. So Dragon for Mac has been discontinued. Don't even waste your money on it. It's not worth it. It never really worked well to begin with. But you can use Dragon Anywhere, which is a subscription that is for iOS and Android. And it uses the same technology. And you can speak into it on your phone and get amazing results with just your phone's microphone. You don't need any additional hardware. I use it almost every week, and I've dictated novels while washing dishes. I've dictated novels while walking my dog. I've done lots of different things with it, and I find that it is pretty accurate and can do you a really good job. And you can use the screen mirroring feature on your phone to project onto your desktop if you want to be able to look at your computer and see what's there while you dictate. Let me show you a demo. So this is Dragon Anywhere. So I'm going to turn the microphone on and give you a demo of how this works. As you can see, comma, the app dictates what I speak quite quickly, comma, and it is fairly accurate, period, new line. Open quote, this is dialogue, comma, close quote. He said, period, new line. So as you can see, a very good way to write. Now, I happen to like Dragon because it's fast, it's fairly accurate, and yes, it's kind of weird. You got to train yourself to talk a little differently, but that's really not the end of the world. I happen to, once you get used to it, it's almost like riding a bike. Like you can never unlearn it. So like talking about the parentheses and the open quotes and new lines, that comes naturally with time. Now, dictation makes a lot of sense because if you think about it, the average person types about 100 words per minute. The average person speaks between 140 and 160 words per minute. So you can automatically tell stories faster by learning to speak your word counts. And another great thing about dictation is that if you happen to have repetitive stress injuries or chronic neck or back pain that prevents you from sitting in front of a computer for a long period of time, dictation is a wonderful tool. In fact, I've dictated novels lying on my couch. I've dictated like over 10 novels. I've dictated sitting down. I've dictated standing up. I've dictated walking around my office. I've dictated in all sorts of positions. I even put a microphone on my exercise bike and dictated while I was working out. That's how versatile dictation is, and it's a great way to get more words in. Now, if you'd like more information on dictating your book, my fellow author Scott Baker has an amazing website and book called The Writer's Guide to Training Your Dragon that walks you through how to use Dragon, the different program considerations, and how to get set up in dictating your story in no time. I'll drop a link if you are interested. But Dragon is not the only way to dictate your novel. In fact, you can buy a portable voice recorder, and you can buy these at your drugstore, local drugstore. You can get them online for relatively cheaply, and you can record or speak into them and then send that audio file to a transcriptionist to have them transcribe your story so that you can then edit it. Now, this method does require a little bit of expense, but there are people who have done great work in this area. For example, author Kevin J. Anderson wrote a great book called On Being a Dictator. I love that title. He wrote a book that talks about his method of dictating in this way. And he dictates while he's on long walks with his dog in the woods. And if that is your cup of tea, that is another way you can dictate. And the great thing is that you don't need Dragon to do that. However, Dragon can help you with this because if you purchase Professional Individual, that has a transcription feature that can take your audio and turn it into text as if you were speaking it into the Dragon program. So Dragon is a Swiss Army knife, but not required. If you do want to go the transcription route, know that that will cost you some money, but that can be a fairly accurate way to do this as well. So we've talked about pen and paper, kinda. We've talked about writing on a word processor on your desktop or laptop, which are the two most common ways that you probably thought of writing your novel. We talked about writing on your phone. We talked about dictating, and we talked about dictating and transcribing your work. Wow, that's a lot of ways to write your novel. And here's the thing, you don't have to use just one method. What if you could use all of those methods or different methods depending on what you want to do? So for example, maybe you wake up in the mornings and write on your desktop, and then you write on your phone throughout the day. And then when you're hurt or injured or your back is bothering you, you dictate. And so using a different writing method based on your mood or based on your situation at the time or how you're feeling can become a wonderful tool to help you maximize and unleash your word counts. Let me give you an example. So there's some days where I'm just not able to write very much at all. So it might be like 10 o'clock at night and I'm supposed to go to bed at 10:30 and all I've got is 30 minutes to sit down and write. Now I could write on my desktop, no problem, but I dictate instead because I'm going to get double the word count and it's going to be just as accurate and just as good. So that helps me improve my word count on what would have been a 0 day or what would have been a 500 word day. I can get 1,000 or 1,500 word day out of that session. So I encourage you to think about many different ways that you can write your book because there's no excuse not to use technology in order to become more prolific in today's age. If you like these tips in this video, I've got an entire book dedicated to productivity, and it's called Be a Writing Machine: How to Write Faster and Smarter, Beat Writer's Block, and Be Prolific. And it goes into many of the topics that I talked about in this video. If you're interested, grab your copy in the video description below or by going to authorlevelup.com/machine. See you in the next video.